Hey everybody, I do not know if this material that I'm about ready to share with you, I have some new perspectives on CERN, what's going on, how some of these movies right here are depicting exactly what they are trying to do with CERN and the powers that be. And hey, I apologize if this material has been out somewhere else. I don't know about it, but it just kind of just came to me when someone pointed out a plaque that was on the wall here in this movie. Now, before we get into that, I want to explain to you exactly what this movie is all about that you're seeing right here. Avengers 2012. It is about this cube called the Tesseract. Remember that, the Tesseract cube that the god Loki from the Norse pantheon, who happens to be a trickster, and he does his little goofball garbage, whatever. And he wants to get a hold of the Tesseract because he wants to open up a portal to bring these beings, whether they're aliens or evil, whatever you want to call them. Are they demons or, that's for you to discern and for you to decide. It doesn't really matter at this juncture of this presentation what exactly they are. The point is that's what he was trying to do. So let us take a look at this plaque that someone pointed out, and it opened my eyes hugely here that I'm going to share with you. Now, I've always stated that when you see a director of a movie and they intentionally will have something pointed out for the camera, they want you to see something. And interestingly enough, with this Project Pegasus, and if you guys are not familiar with Project Pegasus, look it up. It happens to do with some light that was shed by this Washington attorney named Bashago. I think that was his name, Bashago, yeah. And he makes some pretty outlandish, extraordinary claims that there was a project. I do believe it was a DARPA project, just going off my memory here. And he says that himself, and Obama, when they were kids, were used in some kind of Mars exploration program or something. And he also makes the claim that it was him that could be seen in a picture back from like the late 1800s to early 1900s, and that was actually him in the picture. Any truth to it? I don't know. Could be, but that's not the point. The point is even if Project Pegasus is not real, the fact still remains that the people creating this movie, or the people who have done this just this way, are pointing out something to you. That, keep in mind, this is about time travel, okay? But it's not so much time travel per se, and I'll get into that. But it does have to do with time, and that's what I wanted to show you. And I'm going to show you some other things about a movie, and I'm going to show you about CERN. And this is all about CERN and what they are really up to and what I believe they're really going to do. All right, so let's take a look. Lest I forget also, Iron Man, kind of like a play on something that I was showing you here in the other video. Remember, iron mixing with clay, and I told you that Prometheus, being a Titan, and the word Titan means clay, and he formed man out of clay. Does that make man clay? Is that what they're trying to play on right here? Is that man will be formed with iron at some time? Possible, just possible, but let's proceed. Now, in this video that I did right here, my last one about CERN and about the Tesseract, and as a matter of fact, they mention the Tesseract as it has to do with CERN, and I pointed that out right here. Right here, Physical Review D APS Physics, Fermion Mutilation on a Body-Centered Tesseract. Now, because Tesseract is a geometrical shape of a cube, and they maybe because you have to use geometry in some of their hypercubic lattice here, form, fermion, whatever they're, all that mumbo jumbo that I don't even understand all that, but they do mention it when it comes to CERN, right? So let us take a look at something here. Somebody sent me this picture. Now, looking at this picture right here, let me just widen this up for you here. As you can see here, this is CERN. Here is, of course, your Hadron Collider port or tube or whatever you want to call it. And you can see these two employees standing here at CERN, right? So let us see if the Tesseract has anything to do with CERN as we know it from like a movie such as Avengers 2012. Now, we've already seen I Pet Goat 2 being analyzed, and as you can see, it has some very weird references in there. And you also saw that these employees at CERN were kind of doing a weird dance that was representative of the exact same dance that you see in the movie I Pet Goat 2, right? Am I right or wrong? So here's the thing. Now take a look. Can you see this cube right here on his ID card? Now, I guess that he is, what, a visitor? Or I don't know, I can't see what that word is right there. But I know I do see a cube right there on the ID card. And if I can bring this in, you can see it right there, right? Let's try to see if we can get that. That is a cube. Is it the Tesseract cube? Is it really, in fact, that they are opening up a portal? Or is it something much, much, much worse? And I'm going to tell you how this plays in with the Project Pegasus that we saw on the plaque in the movie. Okay, so we're going to enter into the realm of speculation here just for a moment. And you see this cube right here with the M on there representing a Millennium Entertainment. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but in some of your movies that you watch, if you do happen to watch movies to pick apart for its Illuminati symbolisms and stuff like I do, then you may have seen this emblem in your movie before. Well, is this also have to do with a actual Tesseract? And when I say millennium, I want you to remember a story in the Bible. And just like I said, we're entering the realm of speculation here. Do you remember that these Satan or Lucifer or whoever it was, and I told you in some of my previous videos who I believe who Lucifer really was, the god Enki, Ea from the Sumerian tablets, that he's supposed to, or Prometheus also, they're supposed to be locked up for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. A millennium. That's right, a millennium. But what exactly could CERN do to speed up the process, or not speed up, I'm sorry, let me take that back, not speed up the process, but to release them from their let's call them their bindings, their chains. Let's say they're chained for 1,000 years. And what could CERN do to release them? Even if they're bound, do you think a portal is going to release them? No, I don't believe it would. But I think I know exactly how they're going to about doing it. And I think I can explain it with the movie Millennium back from the 1980s, and I think I can explain it with the movie Interstellar that just came out last year, or maybe it was earlier this year.
Say again, Minneapolis. He's down. Oh my God, down.
This is the 1989 movie Millennium. Why it was so named Millennium, I have not bothered to check to see if there's any other meaning behind the name. But the movie is very interesting. It's about time travel. It's about these female stewardesses, or pretending to be stewardesses, who come from the future, who actually come and save people off of an airplane that's about ready to crash, and they lose one of their devices. And so they have to kind of return back to, so they don't get found out or whatever the case may be. But it's all about time travel, really, and saving these people off this airplane crash. Very interesting. So now we have something about time being mentioned in the Avengers with the Pegasus project. with the Millennium and the Tesseract cube off of the Millennium Entertainment Productions, and we also have the Tesseract, as just saw on the ID card at the CERN location. Right now, this is the movie Interstellar. Now, I want you to listen specifically what she says about dimensions. Okay, she mentions dimensions, and what have we been covering so far? That's right, time. And in this movie, Interstellar, it's about this guy right here being sent into some portal or some kind of interdimensional portal that's close to Saturn, I do believe. I think that's the planet. And he enters into some kind of tesseract cube where he can actually see back in time to his daughter and give her clues, give her some kind of warnings of some sort. So it's about time, right? Did you see that? So let us hear what she has to say right here about the dimension of time.
I do know some clever way we could maybe, I don't know, jump in a black hole. Came back to years. Don't shake your head at me.
Time is relative. Okay, it can stretch and it can squeeze, but it can't run backwards. It can't. Right? The only thing that can move across dimensions like time is gravity.
The only thing that can move in dimensions other than time is gravity. Now, the thing is that can we go back in time? Is it a fact that everybody's worried about CERN creating a black hole that could swallow up the Earth or could do something to the Earth? What if, my friends, that actually that it is CERN is not opening a portal, but they are actually opening up a dimension of time? And why would they be opening up a dimension of time? Well, it is my opinion now that the reason why they would be doing that is if you had, or you were going to be bringing back some kind of evil, or what we believe to be evil. Maybe they view it as some different way, like I presented in the video about Enki being the god who saved mankind from the flood. And perhaps he is somewhere in chains on this planet, let's say Tartarus or Prometheus, let's say Prometheus, let's call him that. And let's say that they are bound. These Titan gods are bound. And how would you go about unbinding them? Well, if you have no way in your humanly realm possibility of unbinding them, could you go back in time and retrieve them through some kind of time dimensional portal before they're actually had been bound? Does that make sense now? I do believe that when you look at this in the aspect of they're trying to give you the clues that this has to do with time. It's not a portal, it's not a black hole as we know it. What did they say that they were? What did they say partly about CERN? About we want to be able to actually go back in time and see how the Big Bang happened, or see if it was possible. Now, don't you find it odd that the shape of the CERN is in the shape of an Ouroboros, the same as the god Enki emblem of the snake eating itself? Don't you find it odd that CERN would actually create this underground system to just smash particles into each other to determine whether something happened this way or that way? How about just leave it a mystery and not spend the billions and billions of dollars to do it? Is all of this starting to make sense now? That the iPet goat is telling you, they're telling you in the movie Interstellar, they told you that the Tesseract and everything that has to do with opening up this portal is right there in the movie Avengers for you. And I do believe that this is all about opening up a dimension of time. What they're going to be bringing through this dimension, or call it a portal if you will, but a time portal, and not some kind of portal like to lead to some kind of space alien base or something like that. But I think the only way that they could bring them in now, what would be the purpose of what would be the purpose of opening up this time portal and retrieving these ancient gods? Or some people might want to call them demons, some people might want to call them whatever you want to call them. But let's say that the Titans were in fact the good guys and they were deposed by the Olympic gods. And I say that, and I cover that in the Sumerian sense too. Enki being a good guy, and Enlil, his brother, was the a-hole who wanted to destroy mankind. And Enki is the one who warned Utnapishtim in the Epic of Gilgamesh. It was Ziusudra who was warned by the god Ea in the Sumerian flood story. And it was Enlil who wanted to destroy the earth. So my question then becomes is Enlil going to be returning, just like the Sumerian tablets say about the planet Nibiru? And is it possible that CERN is all about opening up a space, or not, I'm not space, not a space portal, but a time portal, or a time dimensional portal, to bring Enki before he was actually imprisoned, or whatever the case may be. I know it's all hypothesis right now, but something leads me to believe that this is exactly the case. And I think I've went on long enough, and hopefully you've stuck around to see the conclusion to this video. Thanks, everybody.